Welcome to the Art of Japanese Green Tea.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Griff. And today we're going to show you how to brew Hojicha.
Now, Hojicha is roasted Japanese green tea, and the name translates literally to roasted tea. Hoji being roasty and cha being tea, and it's a very inexpensive type of Japanese green tea.
Mm-hmm. And so Hojicha came about in the 1920s in Kyoto, at least it's theorized. Not theorized, but at least that's what the idea that the thinking is. And it came about because merchants who were selling very low grade tea that had like a lot of stems, a lot of twigs in it as well, they wanted to make their tea a little more appetizing and a little more interesting, so they decided to roast it over charcoal, which gave consumers kind of a different product that was kind of interesting, and that was its main sort of selling factor. That's how it got started.
And I guess it worked out pretty well because we still have it today.
Yep.
So usually it's made of bancha, but it can also be made out of kuki-cha or like stem tea and stuff, or you can make it out of sencha, but for the most part it's going to be lower quality tea leaves.
Yeah. That's sort of the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, it's roasted over charcoal, and the leaves, as you will see in my non-auto-focusing camera, are a dark, kind of a reddish crimson brown color, and it has a very strong aroma. Mm-hmm. I think you mentioned it to you. It smells like
a campfire, or it's a very robust.
It's a very robust, strong smell to it.
Mm-hmm.
And we've looked up a lot of guides, like how do you brew Hojicha, and to be honest, they vary a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of debate about what the right parameters are. Mm-hmm. Like some people will say 30 seconds for the first infusion, others will say 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But we're going to be going with 1.5 minutes at 88 degrees
Celsius, which is 190 Fahrenheit. And we find using those parameters gives a good combination of the sort of sweet flavor that you can get out of Hojicha, as well as its sort of strong, robust flavor. And you know what? At the end of the day, the reason why it varies so much is just because it's pretty easy to brew.
It is easy to brew, and you can brew it differently. Like say you don't want it to be as sweet, or you want more robust. You can brew it to your own preference.
Yeah.
And, so we're going to be using about 2 scoops per which is...
That basically comes out to 2 scoops being our tablespoon per 125 milliliters. So that's going to give us about, we're going to have to do 4 into this. And we're going to start by preheating it in a little different way.
So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be preheating our Kyusu with our hot water here.
Yep.
But we're not going to be using the water we're using to preheat it to brew it, because it's going to be losing a lot of temperature from the teaware.
Especially because we're outside.
Especially outside too. But even inside, this is what we will do.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to pitch this water, so we can start up with hot water again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because to get your water at that sort of like 88 degrees Celsius, you're basically going to have to transfer it just once from the cup. You're not going to pour yet. Or you're just cleaning?
Yeah.
Okay. You transfer it straight from the cup to the teapot. At this point, we probably should mention that we're going to be using a Kyusu, but you can also use a Gaiwan. But regardless of what you use, you want to use a vessel that's been glazed.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is
just because of the robust flavor, right? You don't want that to be permanently stuck in your Kyusu when you're brewing.
If you're using an unglazed.
Yeah, it's a bit overpowering, I guess. The flavor of the Hojicha.
Yeah. So we're using Old Bluey today.
Mm-hmm. You ready to start?
I think we're ready to start.
So we got our old water, not old, but the water that we were just using to preheat, pour that out.
Yep.
So we're just going to start by Actually, we'll start with the leaves, and we're gonna put them directly into the empty fuse tube.
Yeah. And so we're going to be using 4 scoops. So, yeah. One thing to keep in mind when you measure out your Hojicha is, say if you like to do it by the numbers, Hojicha weighs a lot less than normal tea because the roasting process makes the leaves expand. So you're going to need to use a lot more for what your typical numbers would be. And
if you're using a scale, I guess that would work because it's the same, like you're using the weight.
Yeah.
But if you're using a scoop, you just make sure to factor in that the leaves are expanded.
Yeah.
From the roast. So we're just gonna put it directly in from the cups.
Yes.
Brew it for 1 minute and a half.
Yeah. So something interesting about Hojicha is its caffeine content.
Yeah. A lot of sources have said that the caffeine content in a Hojicha from the roasting process is either like the caffeine's completely gone or greatly diminished.
Yeah.
Now we can't say scientifically how much caffeine is left because we don't have any data on that, but generally
somebody might, but we don't.
Generally, it's accepted that it has less caffeine.
Yeah, and to that extent, it's a very popular drink to serve to Japanese children and the elderly. They like to drink it a lot, and actually, it's also a very nice tea to drink.
Yeah, like before bed or
in the evening before bed, and it's especially when it's getting colder now. A nice roasty toasty cup of tea in bed is always nice.
Yeah, I guess it's comparable to like people who drink decaf.
Yeah,
coffee.
Yeah, or herbal tea.
Yeah, or, stuff like that. So, yeah.
So it's definitely lighter in caffeine. How lighter depends on your source. But something interesting, even though we're outside, you can kind of smell that scent coming out of it.
Yeah, it's a very strong aroma.
Yeah. And so, I'm not sure if you're really going to be able to see this, but the tea is coming out in a very like reddish brown color.
It almost looks like coffee more than tea.
Yeah.
Or maybe it looks like black tea. I don't really
drink much black tea.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very like a reddish, very dark. Like you can see through to the bottom. It's just not easy. It's not like looking through a cup of sencha, where it's very clear.
Yeah. Wait, have you seen the second infusion of Fukumushi Kaoru?
Okay, well there are obviously exceptions. When you have cloudy tea, then that's different. But it's not cloudy.
No.
Like it's just very opaque.
Yeah.
Or yeah. It's just dark, but it's not cloudy.
So the taste, a lot of people describe it as nutty, as well as having some earthy tones to it.
Yeah, like sort of like that wood, like roasted, like tastes like campfire to me, or maybe like it's got those undertones that you would expect from like Scotch or something. Like I don't know what's the name for that. There should be a name
for Scotch.
No, for
I don't drink Scotch.
For that flavor, like it's very robust and like coffee or like.
Yeah, that's actually something that I think something that I've sort of picked up on, but not many people seem to agree with me. Is like there also seems to be some similarities between this and coffee. It's not as strong as coffee or bitter or anything, but
it's not like you think you're drinking a cup of coffee. But like I think, coffee beans start out green and they probably taste a lot different than they do before you roast them. So you get that roasted flavor that you have in coffee because your coffee's always roasted, unless you're buying green coffee.
Yeah. So either way, I guess maybe you're used to just drinking green tea, and this is technically green tea, but so like It's strange to think about, like, astringency and grassiness. Of course, this doesn't have that.
Yeah,
those aspects. It's very different. But anyway, for later infusions,
For the second infusion, we're going to be doing 30 seconds and about 95 degrees. The third infusion, we're going to bump it up to a minute and 15.
yeah, and just do it as hot as you can at that point.
Crank up the heat.
Yeah, and you know what? I guess it varies depending what kind of Hojicha you're using. I believe this one is just Banshet, but or was originally Banshet, but it doesn't really seem to do a good fourth infusion. You can try it. It's really at its end of its lifespan. You can just sort of brew it for like 3 or 4 minutes at as hot of temperature as possible, but it doesn't really do a good fourth.
If you want to try though, just like at least 3 minutes or something, and just as hot as possible. But for this, we're not gonna really do a fourth.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's about it.
That's it for the brewing.
So that's how you brew Hojicha.
So we'll see you inside.
Alright, so now we're going to take how to make Hojicha to a little more literal level.
Yeah, so we've got here some kukicha, or what is this, musashi?
I think it was Busecha at some point.
Anyway, it's some tea with some stems in it. There, you can see. But this is expired basically.
Yeah.
I got this before Shinsha season, and you know once the Shinsha got here, I just sort of neglected it. But now it gives us the opportunity to bring some new life back into it.
And that brings up the point. So like, why would you want to take your own tea and make it into Hojicha? Well, there's a few reasons. So just like that, it's kind of like old now, and
yeah,
it's you know, a good way to give it purpose again. Sometimes if you like to keep the little bit, like, you know, when you get to the end of a canister of tea and there's just a little bit and it's not enough to brew, sometimes you can keep it all together, and then once you get enough, brew some Hojicha out of that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Little.
So
Another little addition.
Yeah. So traditionally, how would you make it?
Well, traditionally, if you're to make Hojicha, you would roast it over charcoal, and you would use this special little vessel called a hodoku. And what a hodoku is, it's actually pretty interesting because it looks almost like a kyusu, a typical kyusu with the handle on the side.
No spout on it.
Yeah, but there's no spout on it. And so it comes up and closes. And on the handle actually like leads into the middle section. So you put your tea leaves, your green tea leaves in, and then once it's been roasted, you actually pour it out through the handle. And it's a pretty cool little device. But we don't happen to have one on hand, so
we're just gonna show a way that everybody can make it, and we're just gonna use a pan on the stove.
Yep.
Now, it's important to note that this is a new pan.
Yeah.
Just because we don't want our tea tasting like spaghetti or
whatever
or bacon, you know, like bacon.
Well, you know.
But yeah, so.
Let's not go past that bacon tea. That might be interesting.
We're not gonna say that you definitely need to go out and buy a new pan. Just pick the cleanest thing that you have, basically. So you're not
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now Matt's gonna fire up his phone and
yeah, I'm just gonna get a nice close up here on my phone since their camera doesn't autofocus. Actually, do you want to hold this?
Yeah, I'll hold it and you can run it.
Okay.
So we have the stove on already, and we're going to probably turn it up a little bit. Yeah. You want to use it on sort of a medium.
So we're just gonna
setting.
Pour in a bit here. I'm not gonna do it all at once, just because it'll be harder to cook it, roast it properly.
Yeah.
Too much. You know, just like a fair amount. Cover the bottom.
Light over here.
Yeah.
So you can see it's nice and green. That's what you get. So we're going to leave this on the burner for. I think we've done this a few times, it takes about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes to do.
Yeah, depending on obviously
Yeah.
on your temperature and everything. But we figure lower temperature and more time will make sure you don't burn it, and just so you can dial in on the exact level of roasting that you want.
So we're gonna let you go for a minute.
Yeah.
And
we'll come back once it's almost done and show you that.
Alright, so as you can see, the leaves are just on the cusp of browning out now. They need a little longer. Something we probably should have mentioned before is every once in a while you want to give it sort of like a shake like this. You don't want to shake it too much, but
just because if you leave like if you don't stir it or shake it or whatever, the leaves on the bottom are gonna burn before the ones on the top are even roasted properly. Just the same concept as stirring your craft dinner, you know.
You gotta stir your KD.
You gotta stir it. So yeah, so it's almost done now. And, this is what it looks like.
See, oh, still a little bit more. And so I guess when doing this, when you roast Hojicha, I don't think there's really any downside to really taking your time to it. But if you do it too quick, it might not turn out as well as it could have. So that's something to keep in mind. I'll turn that off while we're talking to you up there.
Yeah. So yeah, like pretty easy overall, you know. Just
it's kind of fun and interesting. Nice way to handle extra little bits of tea that you might have. So
and like if you order some tea and you get it slashed open by customs, then
you mean if you order Gyokuro to get slashed open by customs and they leave it oxidized for
and if they just decide that loosely placing some packing tape over the hole is gonna fix it, then you get a bag of tea in the mail and it's completely ruined.
And
just if that happens, then make Hojicha.
Now Matt, you had a similar experience to that once, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was a long time ago. That was probably one of the first, not the first time, but that was one of the first few times I think we actually roasted our own Hojicha.
It was sad. It was sad. It was Gyokuro. Like, it was good. It was good stuff. And I got it and it was just
completely oxidized. It then lost all of its. And you think, well, yeah, maybe. How bad could Gyokuro be? And it's like, well, pretty bad.
It wasn't worth drinking like as Gyokuro.
No,
like it was. Someone made in the Hojicha
and then we learned how to do this.
Yeah. So that's.
And one thing to keep in mind. I just want to put that on the thing now.
So this is about done now.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I've got my canister here that I'm just using for Hojicha. There's a little bit in there that I made earlier. Just pour that in there. Actually,
maybe you should pour that onto the piece of paper or into that bowl.
Into this bowl. Got it here. And then we'll do because that pan's pretty hot and
yourself. But anyway, when you roast Hojicha, I gotta say, it's an amazing smell. And there are, I don't know what the actual name of it is, but it's one of those things where you have a candle underneath and then there's like some sort of wax oil to, heat up on the top. If you put some tea leaves in that and then light a candle underneath, you have such an amazing smell. It's like very sweet. It's a really cool thing to try.
And you can drink it too. Like it does make it into Hojicha on top. Yeah. It takes several hours though.
Yeah.
Like, don't be thinking like you're gonna do it like that and then have a session immediately. But
yeah. But it's a nice way to fill your home with a nice sweet scent
and like
of tea.
If you, let's say you have the end of a can of sencha, you can just do that with that and have a nice smelling Like just roasting it on here, the entire room is just filled with the smell.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So that is how you literally
Make
Hojicha.
Alright, so now we're gonna actually brew up our homemade Hojicha and compare it to the one from Ocha.
And we're going to use the same parameters here.
As we did outside.
Yeah, I guess we don't need to use as much water to preheat, but
Yeah, no. You know because we told you.
You know because we told you at the beginning of this video. That's our cameraman, if you remember him from our Aoi review. I can just put that in the sink.
That's cute. So, got our homemade jicha there.
Here, as you can
It's
see.
nice and brown. So we'll see how this compares with the stems in it. And
You know what? It'll be interesting to see because the other stuff I'm pretty sure was bancha, and this is like
this is good.
It's good, but it's old.
So, yeah, it's a bit of a
riddle.
I know.
We're going to find out.
Alright, get started.
And it's not really like you don't have to drink Hojicha in any particular time of the year, but it seems like a really nice sort of autumn tea. It has a nice sort of warming sensation to it.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, you know what? On the flip side, I've never tried it, and we'll have to make a video of it sometime. A lot of people say iced Hojicha is really good.
Really?
Yeah.
I like iced sencha a lot, so maybe, but
We
yeah,
never
we
made
tried
that video either.
Well, we did.
We
once.
did a long time ago.
We should have made that in the summer. Why didn't we make that in the summer?
Because we got, I don't know, busy.
Mm.
I guess, yeah, like, I don't really know. We don't have a particular routine set out for these videos.
Just do it when
and,
you can.
Yeah, and it's like, to be honest with the summer, it wasn't like we were away anywhere in particular. It's just, it was the summer. We were on holidays.
I'm sorry, we should have done it.
But we didn't. But we'll do it eventually, so, I don't know. I actually, you know what, I think if we did like a video every couple weeks or once a month, that'd be pretty good. But at the same time, as always, we have our website where you can get constantly updated info. We're doing more guides. We do a lot more reviews. Well, not a lot more because we're in the process of gaining more and more. We've only been blogging for a couple months now, so no more than a couple months, but we do a lot of reviews on different teas that you can buy, so that's pretty interesting. I mean, to actually have a tea that you can go out and buy and help make you a better consumer, not a better consumer, but a more advised consumer. That's always good. So here we are. It's this one's actually a little more reddish.
Yeah, the first thing I noticed is it's not quite as dark and it's a little more red.
It still has the same sort of aroma. That's definitely different. I mean, it still has the same. Yeah, it's lighter. It has a little more of that roast flavor to it.
I think I actually like this one better.
It's not bad.
Pretty good.
Well, I guess that pretty much brings us to the end of our video. So
yeah. So
like I guess that's like 3 sections. We usually just do 2. I guess
3 sections. That is value that we are bringing to you. Right
one
now.
video. Yeah. Anyway, you can check us out at aj-gt.com. We have Facebook. We have Twitter if you're into tweeting.
Plus the rest of our YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
stuff.
You know what? Something I never mentioned, and I think it's helpful. We always leave our link like down below in the description, so you can go check out all the. You don't have to type them in. You can check out all these things right down.
Right down, right down in this area of YouTube. Not over here. Not over here. Like from here to like here.
I think I hear the music starting. So.
That's it. Get.
See ya.